Okay, so you're prepping for a labor market policy officer interview.
And we're here to help you use all of RoleCatcher's resources.
Yeah, to really nail it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So think of this deep dive as your secret weapon.
Like when it comes to answering those tough interview questions,
Uh-huh.
like, okay, let's just jump right in.
Okay.
What motivated you to apply for this role?
Okay, so this one is all about showing your passion
Hmm?
and why you are genuinely excited about this specific role.
Right, so not just like, I love policy work.
Yeah, you want to connect it to something specific about this organization or the challenges that they're tackling.
Like, okay, let's say you're passionate about youth employment.
Right, you could mention how the organization's focus on skills development programs really resonated with you, and you're eager to contribute your expertise in that area.
Okay, perfect example.
Yeah.
So now I imagine the interviewer might follow up
Right.
and be like, okay, so tell me about your experience in youth employment.
Yeah.
How would you approach that?
Well, that's where you can get specific and showcase your expertise.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about projects you've worked on, research you've conducted, or programs you've been involved with
Yeah.
that relate to youth employment.
Okay, and what if you haven't had direct experience
Right.
in that area?
Well, you can highlight your understanding of the challenges facing young job seekers.
Right.
Mention any relevant coursework or research that you've done and express your eagerness to learn and contribute in that area.
Okay, so it's like you're showing your commitment,
Easy.
even if your experience isn't an exact match.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. How do you stay current with labor market trends?
So this is where you prove you're a lifelong learner,
Oh.
always ahead of the curve.
Mm-hmm.
Mention specific publications, conferences, or professional organizations
Cool.
that help you stay informed.
So it's not just like naming a bunch of names, though, right?
Right. You also want to showcase how you actually engage with those resources.
Yeah.
So, for example, you could say, I recently read an article in The Economist
Mm-hmm.
about the impact of automation on low-skilled jobs.
Oh, interesting.
And it really made me think about the role of policy in supporting workers through these transitions.
Wow, so you're like tying in your knowledge to a real-world issue.
Right.
You're not just passively absorbing the information.
Yeah,
And that's also where RoleCatcher's AI can give you an edge
absolutely.
by analyzing the job description.
Right.
They can suggest specific trends or issues
Yeah.
that are relevant
Mm-hmm.
to this employer.
Right.
So then you can tailor your answer.
Yeah.
It's like having a personal research assistant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's move on. How do you develop policies that are inclusive and equitable?
So this is about showcasing your commitment to fairness and your understanding of the nuances of different groups in the labor market.
So it's not enough to just say,
Yeah.
I believe in equality.
You need to demonstrate a deeper understanding of how policies impact different demographics.
Oh.
You could talk about specific strategies that you've used in the past, like conducting needs assessments, engaging stakeholders, or using data to identify and address disparities.
And let's say you haven't had a chance to actually implement
Right.
those strategies.
Well, you can still showcase your understanding of those concepts
Okay.
and your commitment to applying them in the future.
Okay, so showing that you are aware of the complexities and are committed to actually promoting equity
Absolutely.
in your work.
Yes.
Okay, here's one that interviewers love.
Okay.
Can you describe a time when you had to adapt a policy in response to changing circumstances?
Oh, the classic tell me a story question.
Yeah.
So this is your chance to demonstrate your flexibility, problem-solving skills, by walking the interviewer through a specific example.
Okay, so pick a situation where you had to adjust a policy or a program,
Yeah.
maybe due to some unforeseen challenges.
Right.
New information, feedback from stakeholders.
Exactly. Focus on the steps you took to adapt the reasoning behind those decisions, and then the positive outcomes.
Okay, and I think it's okay to show a little vulnerability.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's okay to admit that things didn't go perfectly,
Yeah.
as long as you highlight what you learned from the experience.
It shows self-awareness and a willingness to learn from your mistakes.
Okay, before we move on, I have to mention this.
Okay.
RoleCatcher has a whole library of interview questions
Yes.
specifically for labor market policy officers.
That's a great reason.
They even have expert tips.
Absolutely.
So not only can you find more practice questions,
Mm-hmm.
but RoleCatcher's AI can analyze your recorded answers
Yeah.
and then give you personalized feedback.
On your delivery and content.
It's like having a coach in your pocket, helping you refine your responses.
And boost your confidence.
And because the AI is trained on data from these real labor market policy officer interviews,
Yeah,
you can be sure the feedback you're getting is relevant and targeted.
absolutely.
Okay, that's super helpful.
Yeah.
Now let's do a question focused on analytical skills. Ryan, can you describe your experience with policy implementation and evaluation?
So here they want to see that you can put policy into action
Okay.
and measure its impact.
So walk them through a project where you were involved in implementing and evaluating a policy.
Right. Highlight what methods you used. What were the key findings?
And don't just focus on the technical aspects.
Right.
Like highlight the challenges you faced, the decisions you made, and how you collaborated
That's
with
true.
others
Yeah.
to achieve success.
Yeah.
Speaking of collaboration,
Okay.
how do we handle those questions about navigating diverse perspectives? Like,
Right.
how do you balance competing interests when developing labor market policies?
This is all about those diplomacy skills.
Oh.
You need to demonstrate that you can understand different viewpoints while also finding common ground.
Okay, so share an example where you had to consider the needs of various stakeholders.
Yeah.
Maybe government agencies, businesses, community organizations. Like, how did you approach that situation?
And remember, it's not always about finding the perfect compromise.
Right.
It's about showing that you can weigh different perspectives,
Yeah.
make informed decisions, and effectively communicate your reasoning.
You're making very good points.
Thanks.
Now let's shift gears and talk about aligning your work with the bigger picture.
Okay.
How do you ensure that labor market policies align with broader government priorities?
So this is where you showcase your awareness of the political landscape and your ability to connect your work to those larger goals.
Okay, so how do you stay informed about government objectives?
Yeah.
How do you ensure your policy recommendations aren't going against other initiatives?
You could mention specific resources that you use to stay updated on government priorities.
Right.
Maybe policy documents, legislative updates, news sources,
Okay.
and then you can connect that to how you would ensure alignment.
Yeah.
Maybe consulting with relevant government agencies or conducting impact assessments.
So showing that you're thinking strategically
Exactly.
and taking a holistic approach.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the final question for this section,
Okay.
and it has to do with communication. Can you describe a time when you had to communicate complex labor market policy issues to a non-expert audience?
This is a crucial skill for any policy professional. Being able to explain those complex ideas clearly and concisely
Right.
using language that everyone can understand.
Yeah, so think of a time you had to break down a complex policy issue for someone who maybe wasn't familiar with all the jargon.
Yeah, how did you tailor your communication style?
Right.
Maybe you used analogies, real-world examples, visuals to make the information more accessible.
Yeah.
And remember, effective communication also involves active listening and responding to questions.
Excellent point.
Yeah.
And this is also where RoleCatcher's AI
Right.
can come in handy.
You can practice explaining a policy concept
Mm-hmm.
and get that AI-powered feedback
Right.
on your clarity, conciseness, and use of jargon.
So it can like identify areas where your explanation might be too technical or confusing for a non-expert.
Yeah.
It's like having a personal communication coach.
Yeah.
Okay, now before we move on to more questions,
Okay.
I just want to remind everyone
Right.
about RoleCatcher's amazing AI tools.
Yes. These tools are designed to give you that extra edge by providing personalized feedback and helping you tailor your responses to those specific job requirements.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this first part,
We have.
focusing on those common interview questions. But there's more to interview prep than just knowing the answers.
Right.
In the next part, we'll explore career insights
Yes.
and how to showcase your long-term vision and commitment to growth.
Looking forward to it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay, so stay tuned for part 2.
All right. Okay, so let's dive into some career insights
Okay.
that can give you an extra edge in your interview
Okay.
and help you paint a picture of your future in this field.
Okay, great. What kind of insights are we talking about?
Well, let's start with earning potential.
Okay.
RoleCatcher's Career Guide provides some valuable data on average salaries for labor market policy officer roles
Okay.
and factors that can influence salary growth.
Oh, that's great. So not only can we like impress the interviewer with our knowledge,
Yeah,
but we can also get a glimpse into what our future paychecks might look like.
exactly. And this information can be really helpful when it comes to discussing salary expectations during the interview.
Right.
It shows that you've done your research
Yeah,
and you're realistic about your worth.
that's a really good point.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where can this role lead in terms of advancement opportunities?
Well, think about potential career progressions.
Oh.
Could you become a director of policy, a senior policy analyst, or even start your own consulting firm specializing in labor market issues?
It's all about showcasing our ambition
Yeah.
and vision for the future.
Mm.
I like it.
And speaking of ambition, let's talk about skills development.
Okay.
How can we highlight our commitment to continuous learning during the interview?
Yeah, that's crucial in any field, especially one as dynamic as labor market policy.
Right.
So what are some good ways to approach that?
Well, you can showcase your proactive approach by mentioning workshops you've attended, certifications you've pursued, research you've followed to stay up to date.
It's like demonstrating that we're not content with just knowing the basics.
Exactly.
We're actively seeking to expand our knowledge.
Right. And you can tie this back to specific areas of interest within labor market policy.
Okay.
For instance, if you're passionate about the impact of AI on the workforce, mention any courses or research you've done in that area.
So it's like showing a general commitment to learning, but also a targeted interest. Okay. This is a little off topic.
Okay.
But I have to admit, I always get a bit nervous discussing salary expectations.
Don't worry, it's a common concern.
Yep.
The key is to be prepared and confident in your worth. Do your research beforehand using resources like RoleCatcher.
Right.
So you have a realistic benchmark.
Okay, that's a good starting point.
Yeah.
But how do we actually answer that question without like underselling ourselves or seeming unrealistic?
Be honest and transparent about your needs, but also be flexible and open to negotiation.
Okay.
You can say something like, based on my research and experience, I'm targeting a salary range of X to Y, but I'm also open to discussing the overall compensation package.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's about finding a mutually beneficial agreement.
Exactly.
And I guess your salary expectations should be aligned with your skills, your experience, and the value you bring to the organization.
Absolutely. Confidence and clear communication are key.
Okay, good advice.
Thanks.
Now let's talk about networking.
Okay.
It's an essential part of any job search.
Yes.
And I feel like interviewers always want to know how you approach building those professional relationships.
Right. You might get questions like, how do you stay connected with other professionals in the field?
Okay.
Or what networking activities do you participate in?
Okay. So this is where we showcase our engagement in the professional community.
Right. What are some examples you can mention?
Like attending industry events.
Yeah.
Conferences, joining professional organizations, or even being active on those online forums and discussion groups.
Exactly. And of course, LinkedIn is a valuable tool for connecting with professionals and staying updated on industry trends.
In today's digital age, online networking is just as important as in-person connections.
Absolutely.
It lets you build a professional network and access a wealth of information and resources.
It does.
So whether it's attending a conference or connecting with people on LinkedIn, the key is to be proactive and build those relationships.
And remember, networking isn't just about finding a job.
Okay.
It's about building relationships, exchanging knowledge, and supporting each other's growth in the field.
That's a good point. It's about fostering a sense of community and collaboration. Okay, I think we've covered a lot of ground on career insights.
I think so, too.
Any final thoughts before we move on?
Yes, remember, these insights are not just for the interview.
Okay.
They're for you. Understanding the career landscape, the earning potential, the growth opportunities can help you make informed decisions about your own career path.
It's about investing in our future.
Exactly.
And finding a career that we're truly passionate about. Speaking of passion, let's circle back to RoleCatcher's AI tools.
Okay.
And how they can help personalize our interview prep even further.
Absolutely. Now imagine this. You upload your CV to RoleCatcher.
Okay.
And their AI analyzes it, comparing your skills and experience to this specific job description you're targeting.
Okay. I'm intrigued. What happens next?
Well, the AI suggests tweaks and improvements to make your CV stand out to this particular employer.
Okay, so it's not just like general CV advice. It's tailoring it to the needs of each job.
Exactly. And the AI doesn't stop there.
Okay.
It can also help you personalize your interview answers.
Okay.
Remember that library of practice questions we talked about?
Yes.
Well, RoleCatcher's AI can analyze those questions in relation to the job you're applying for.
Oh, wow.
Highlighting the keywords and skills that are most important to this employer.
So it's like having a secret weapon.
Yeah.
That helps us hit all the right notes in our responses.
Exactly. It's about making your answers as relevant and impactful as possible.
And it's not just content.
No.
The AI can also analyze your delivery.
It can. How does that work? You can record yourself answering practice questions, and the AI will analyze your tone of voice, your pace,
Wow.
even your body language, giving you feedback on how to project confidence and authenticity.
That's incredible.
It is.
It's like having a personal interview coach available 24/7.
And much more affordable. It's great. RoleCatcher's AI tools are designed to democratize access to expert career advice
I love that.
and help everyone put their best foot forward in interviews.
It's about leveling the playing field
Yeah,
and empowering everyone to achieve their career goals.
absolutely. So whether you're prepping for a labor market policy officer interview or any other role, remember that RoleCatcher's AI can be your secret weapon,
Yeah.
helping you personalize your prep and shine in your interview.
Okay, before we wrap up this section,
Okay.
let's revisit the core duties of a labor market policy officer.
All right.
So what are some of the key tasks they perform on a regular basis?
Well, they conduct research, analyze labor market trends, employment statistics, demographic data.
Okay.
They identify areas where policies can be implemented to improve the labor market.
Right.
And then they develop those new policies or recommend changes to existing ones.
And it's not a solitary job, right?
No, they have to work with others to make these policies a reality.
Yeah, so they collaborate with partners and stakeholders to
Exactly.
gather input and make sure that the policies are effective and beneficial for everyone.
Yes. So collaboration, communication,
Yeah.
and a deep understanding of the labor market are all essential.
Okay, now what about some of the challenges
Okay.
that labor market policy officers might face?
Right.
What are some hurdles they need to be prepared to overcome?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is balancing those competing interests.
Right.
Different stakeholders may have different priorities and perspectives.
Yeah.
And it's up to the labor market policy officer to find a way to reconcile these differences
Okay.
and develop policies that benefit the labor market as a whole.
So it's a delicate balancing act,
It is.
requiring strong diplomacy skills.
Absolutely. And they may also face challenges related to data availability and accuracy.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes the data they need might be incomplete, outdated, or unreliable.
Right, so being able to critically evaluate data sources
Yeah.
and identify potential biases is important.
Exactly. And then there's the challenge of adapting to changing circumstances. The labor market is constantly evolving, influenced by things like technology, globalization, demographic shifts.
So they need to be able to anticipate these changes
Yes.
and adjust their policies accordingly.
Exactly. It's a dynamic field
Yeah.
that requires flexibility, adaptability, and a willingness to embrace new ideas and approaches.
And let's not forget the ever-present challenge of
Right.
limited resources.
They often have to do more with less,
Right.
finding creative ways to stretch those budgets and maximize impact.
So resourcefulness, innovation, a focus on efficiency are key.
They are.
Okay, so despite all these challenges,
Yeah.
why do people choose this career path?
It's a deeply rewarding career for those who are passionate about making a difference. It's about creating a more just and equitable labor market,
Right.
one policy at a time.
That's a powerful motivator.
It is.
And it sounds like a career that requires a unique blend of those analytical skills.
Yeah. People skills and a genuine desire to make a positive impact.
Absolutely. Now I think it's time to move on to the final stage of our interview preparation journey.
Okay.
Let's discuss some strategic tips and techniques
Great.
that can help you shine in your interview and showcase your best self.
Okay, I'm ready to learn how to make a lasting impression and land that dream job. Okay, so we've covered the role, we've tackled common questions, we've even explored career insights.
Yeah.
Now let's talk strategy.
Okay.
So as we walk into that interview room,
Right.
what are some key things to keep in mind?
Well, first and foremost, preparation breeds confidence.
Okay.
We've covered a lot of ground, but make sure you revisit those questions, practice your responses,
Yeah.
and really internalize those key points.
So it's not just memorizing answers, right?
Yeah, right.
It's about understanding the concepts and articulating them.
Yeah, in your own words.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to use RoleCatcher's AI tools
Yes.
to fine-tune your answers and get personalized feedback.
It can make a big difference.
Yeah.
Now, beyond just knowing the content,
Okay.
what else can we do to make a good first impression?
Well, first impressions matter, and they start even before you step into the interview room.
Okay.
Make sure to dress professionally,
Yeah.
arrive on time, or even a few minutes early,
Okay.
and be polite and courteous to everyone you encounter.
So those little things really do make a difference.
They do. It shows respect and professionalism from the moment you arrive.
Okay.
And during the interview itself, maintain good eye contact. Sit up straight and project a positive and confident demeanor.
It's about showing that you're engaged, enthusiastic.
Exactly.
Genuinely interested.
And don't underestimate the power of a smile.
Okay.
It can make you seem more approachable, likable, and confident.
Okay. I'm making a mental note to smile.
Good.
Now, what about asking questions?
Okay.
I know it's important to be curious and engaged.
Yes.
What kind of questions should we ask?
Think about questions that demonstrate your knowledge of the field and your interest in the role.
Okay.
For example, you could ask about the organization's approach to policy development, their current priorities in the labor market, or specific projects you might be involved in.
So showing that you've done your research and you're thinking critically about how you could contribute.
Exactly. And remember, asking thoughtful questions also helps you gather valuable information that can inform your own decision-making process.
So it's a two-way street.
Yeah, you're trying to impress them,
Right.
but you're also assessing whether this is the right fit for you.
Okay.
Now, before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final piece of advice.
Okay.
Be yourself. Authenticity is key in any interview.
Right.
Let your passion for labor market policy shine through.
Okay.
And don't be afraid to show your personality.
So important. It's about connecting with the interviewer.
Yeah, on a human level.
And showing them who you really are.
Exactly. Now, as we come to the end of our deep dive, remember, you've invested the time and effort to prepare.
Yeah.
And you have the knowledge, the skills, and the passion to succeed.
It's all about believing in ourselves, showcasing our expertise, and letting our enthusiasm shine through.
Absolutely.
And of course, don't forget to leverage all those amazing resources that RoleCatcher provides.
Right.
From the AI-powered feedback to those comprehensive career guides.
Those tools are invaluable.
Yeah.
So go in there, relax, be yourself, and let your passion for shaping the labor market shine through.
We've given you the roadmap. Now it's your time to navigate the journey. Good luck.
Best of luck.